All right, let's dive right into this explainer. When you think of modern British football, what comes to mind? Probably billionaire owners, massive global TV deals, and state-of-the-art stadiums, right? But to really get a grip on how this sport and the people who watch it have changed over the decades, we actually need to look directly at what the fans are holding in their hands. We're talking about the humble Matchday pie. It's kind of like a crazy edible microcosm for the entire socioeconomic evolution of the game.
To kick things off, you've got to know this iconic and, yeah, pretty cheeky piece of football folklore. If you've ever stood on the terraces in the UK, you've definitely heard this chant. Sung to the tune of Knees Up Mother Brown, it's just woven into the absolute fabric of matchday culture. Traditionally aimed at heavier players, referees, or rival fans, it really hits the nail on the head when it comes to showing how intrinsic the pie is to that playful, spirited British football vibe.
Which really begs the question, what can a simple pastry actually tell us about a multi-billion-dollar industry? Well, we're going to zoom out from this one specific culturally ingrained snack to look at the massive economic and cultural structures surrounding the modern game. Because as you'll see, from those freezing concrete terraces of the past to the gleaming corporate concourses of today, the evolution of the pie literally tracks the commercialization of football itself.
Act 1. The Roots.
Picture this. You're standing on a freezing football ground decades ago. Born out of that cold British climate and tough working-class communities, this sturdy, handheld pastry paired with a steaming cup of Bovril was pretty much the baseline for survival. The Scotch pie was just the ultimate utility food. I mean, you didn't need a wrapper. You definitely didn't need cutlery. That hard, hot water crust meant you could eat it with one hand while cheering your team with the other. It was just a warm, hearty, and super cheap way for fans to fend off the bitter winter weather. And the folklore surrounding it is just deeply intertwined with the humor and the scandals of the sport. We can trace that famous chant all the way back to 1894, allegedly aimed at Sheffield United's 300-pound goalkeeper William Fatty Felk. Then jump to 1992, and you literally have Newcastle striker Mickey Quinn casually picking up and eating a pie that a fan threw at him mid-match. No way, right? In 1997, culinary borders are crossed with the invention of the chicken balti pie. And we absolutely cannot forget the 2017 Piegate scandal, where Sutton United's backup keeper Wayne Shaw was actually fined for eating a pie on camera to satisfy betting odds. It's just an incredibly rich, genuinely funny history. Act 2. Regional culinary innovations. So, as the 1990s rolled around, clubs began experimenting with their menus while still trying to keep that traditional working-class spirit alive. Take the legendary Scottish Killie pie, for example. This diced steak masterpiece made up just 3% of a local bakery's turnover, but it sparked a massive trademark legal battle with Kilmarnock FC in 2016. Basically, Brownings the bakers had taken the traditional Scotch pie and upgraded it with premium diced beef and a secret gravy blend. It became an absolute sensation, winning Scotland's best steak pie multiple times. But as its fame grew, so did the financial stakes, leading to a really bitter clash over intellectual property between the football club and the family bakery. It perfectly demonstrates how a local cult classic can suddenly turn into serious corporate business. Meanwhile, down south, Shire Foods spotted a very unique cultural opportunity in 1997. They looked at the local Midlands culture, where a Friday night out basically meant lager and a Balti curry, and brilliantly decided to stuff that exact experience into a pie crust for Walsall and Aston Villa Sands. The catch? Well, as anyone who's ever bitten into one knows, straight out of the kiosk microwave, that authentic Balti filling turns into instant, flesh-burning lava. But honestly, fans absolutely loved it, and the idea spread like wildfire to over 70 clubs nationwide. Act 3. The Gourmet Matchday Revolution. Now this is absolutely crucial. As billions of pounds started pouring into the Premier League, the humble stadium concourse began to drastically gentrify. Food shifted from being mere fuel to a premium essential part of the matchday experience. Caterers started dropping the mass-produced, indeterminate meat pies of the past in favor of regenerative, wild-farmed flour, completely plant-based options, and high-end street food markets located right inside the stadium. The nostalgic, simple fare of the past quickly made way for the ethically sourced ingredients demanded by today's modern consumer. There is literally a culinary revolution happening across the leagues. I mean, look at Forest Green Rovers in Gloucestershire. They are the world's first fully vegan football club, serving up these incredible butterbean tikka masalas. Over in London, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium features pies made handmade entirely in-house, right alongside Europe's longest bar. Hull City in the championship installed brand new fryers and started winning awards for an amazing katsu curry. And at Arsenal, fans are munching on pies made with artisan Westcombe cheddar. The quality has just skyrocketed to meet the expectations of a changing, higher-paying demographic.
Act 4. The cost of commercialization.
But, this massive improvement in stadium facilities and food quality brings us to a documented cultural tension: the skyrocketing cost of the modern game. The economic disparity across the country is wild. A staple snack in London can cost nearly 3 times as much as one in the north. An artisan pie at Arsenal will set you back £8.85. Meanwhile, up north at Burnley, you can still grab a pie for $3. This pricing disparity perfectly mirrors the massive influx of wealth into the top tier of English football.
So objectively, we are watching this massive tug of war between the undeniable upgrades of a globally commercialized sport and the fear that traditional fans are just being priced out. On one hand, sure, the stadiums are safer, the football is incredible, and the food is objectively so much better. But on the other hand, there's a heavily documented concern that the local, lifelong season ticket holder is being shoved aside to make room for tourists and highly lucrative corporate matchday experiences.
Because of this, fan organizations like Trade Union Blues have formed to neutrally document and fight for specific goals, really aiming to keep football a sport for the people amidst this sea of private equity and sovereign wealth. They're pushing back against the commercialization by campaigning for ticket price freezes and advocating for models like Germany's 50+1 rule, which structurally guarantees fan ownership and democracy. They're also fighting to ensure that the very people cooking those gourmet pies and working the hospitality concourses are treated fairly.
Ultimately, as you bite into an artisanal cheese pie in a billion-pound stadium, this is the provocative question you have to ask yourself about the future of football. As the beautiful game evolves, who is the modern matchday really for? Is it for the global tourist, the corporate client, or the local working-class fan whose grandparents stood on those exact same terraces eating a minced mutton pie? The evolution of the pie perfectly tells the story of the evolution of the sport. The next time you're at a match, take a real look at what you're eating. It might just give you the answer. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.